Alright, let's get serious now. Let's get political. Hey everyone, welcome to the top 10 list. Here's my top 10 personal favorite political movies. Yes, I've done a lot of top 10 lists about different genres and stuff, and I always thought, did I do a top 10 political movies list? As it turns out, I didn't. I didn't do a top 10 political movies list, which is weird, but now better late than never. Now I'm doing it. Here's my top 10 personal favorite political movies. Alright, let's do this. And before a top 10 list, you gotta have your honorable mentions. My honorable mentions for my favorite political movies are The Manchurian Candidate, 1962, The Manchurian Candidate, 2004, In the Loop, All the King's Men, 1949, 13 Days, Primary Colors, Milk, Election, and Dave. All great political movies. Just gonna make the top 10 list, but Dave made my top 10 was my number 10. And my number 10 is Rob Reiner's The American President. Yes, this movie stars Michael Douglas and Annette Bening, and also co-stars Martin Sheen and Richard Dreyfuss. And this is a very good romantic comedy, also a great political movie about the American U.S. president, played by Michael Douglas. And he falls in love with a lobbyist, played by Annette Bening, and the chemistry between both of these characters is really well done. Some romantic comedies, especially romantic comedies centered in a political story, don't always work, but this movie really worked. I thought the performances by everyone was great, especially Michael Douglas and Annette Bening, and their great chemistry with each other. Michael Douglas is just a very likable guy, and you just wish that this guy was actually president, because he's just such a nice and likable guy, and he actually has respect and loves his people. And this is a great movie. This is actually one of the last few good movies Rob Reiner did, because after this he started doing shitty movies, but this was a great Rob Reiner movie, and it's a great political movie, and it's my 10th favorite political movie. Coming number 9 is All the President's Men. Yes, All the President's Men stars Dustin Hoffman and Robert Redford, and this movie is amazing. If you love dialogue-fueled movies like me, I love movies with a lot of dialogue, especially very interesting, clever, smartly written dialogue, my kind of movies, and this movie has all of that. This is a great political, dramatic thriller movie with lots of dialogue and lots of very interesting and fascinating plot points and very interesting characters, and the performances by both Dustin Hoffman and Robert Redford is top freaking notch. This is Oscar-worthy acting, and this movie is fantastic. It's very well written, very well directed. I'm not going to spoil it, but it is a great movie. Some people might not like this movie because it is full of dialogue. Some people will probably think, oh, this movie is very dull, it's very boring, all they're doing is talking. But that's what makes this movie so thrilling and engaging and interesting. If you love movies with lots of dialogue and some really good acting, you'll love this movie. All the President's Men is my 9th favorite political movie. Film number 8 is Honest Abe Lincoln. Yes, Steven Spielberg's Lincoln. I love this movie. This is a great movie. I've mentioned this multiple times. This is a great political drama. Again, lots of dialogue. Like All the President's Men, it's a lot of dialogue in this movie, because this movie is all about the abolishment of slavery and ending the Civil War, and it's all dialogue, all negotiations, Republicans and the Democrats and stuff, and try to push this amendment to abolish slavery, and it's a very well acted movie. The ensemble of the cast in this movie is fantastic. You got Daniel Day-Lewis, Sally Field, Tommy Lee Jones, Adam Driver's briefly in the movie, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Jackie Earle Haley, John Hawkes, David Strathairn, Dane DeHaan, just multiple actors in this movie, and they all do a great job in this movie. It's a very well acted movie, very well written movie. It's one of my favorite Spielberg movies. It's not like top 5, but definitely top 10 for sure. Actually, check out my top 10 favorite Steven Spielberg movies. This movie made it on the list because I love this movie. Daniel Day-Lewis transformed himself as Abraham Lincoln. I felt like I was watching Abraham Lincoln on the screen. It was a perfect performance, and this movie is very well done. Again, a lot of people call it boring, but I love dialogue movies, I love historical movies, and I love a good political movie, and this is a damn good political movie. Coming number 7 is Argo Fuck Yourself. Yes, in 2012, both Lincoln and Argo both came out, and they were both great movies, but Argo gets the edge a bit. I'm glad it won Best Picture at the Oscars that year. This is a great movie. Ben Affleck should have been Best Director. He was amazing. He directed this movie so freaking well. I love this movie. This is a great movie. A great movie about the Americans trapped in Tehran, and they're in the Canadian embassy, and basically the U.S. government hires the CIA to get these Americans out of Tehran. So basically, the plan is to make a fake movie in Tehran and pretend that these people who are trapped in Tehran, they're filmmakers working for the Canadians, and they're trying to shoot a movie in this country and then go back home. And it's a very smart plan and a very engaging story. And this is based on a true story, and it's really well done. Ben Affleck is amazing in this movie as Agent Tony Mendez. He's fantastic. I love John Goodman in this movie as John Chambers, the makeup artist for Planet of the Apes. Alan Arkin almost steals this whole movie. He's so good. Everyone's good. Even all the people who play the Americans trapped at the embassy, they're all great actors. The acting is really good and it's very, very thrilling in this movie. This is a great political thriller. The ending third act is a little Hollywood, and some people think it's a little bit of verisimilitude. It's the appearance of truth. It's not real, like they're just Hollywoodizing it, but they kind of are, but it did happen, just not that extreme, but it worked for the movie because it made it more thrilling and more intense, and I did like the ending third act of this movie. I was like biting my nails the whole time I was watching this movie for the first time. It was so well done. This movie is a very well written, very well directed movie, and it's a great political movie, and it's one of my favorites, definitely one of my favorites. Coming number 6 is Wag the Dog. Yes, Dustin Hoffman and Robert De Niro. Yes, another movie, Dustin Hoffman. Dustin Hoffman did some pretty good political movies. This movie's great. I don't want to spoil too much of it, but it's a very well done movie, very well directed. Barry Levinson directed this movie. He did a fantastic job. This is a movie about making a fake movie just to hide some controversy with the government and also maybe starting a war and stuff. And this is a great film. Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 got a lot of their inspiration from this movie, I can tell. I love this movie. It's got some great dark comedy and some really interesting political plot points, and I love this movie. Both Dustin Hoffman and Robert De Niro gave great performances, and Kirsten Dunst is in this movie. She's even good. I love this movie. It's thrilling at times, it's very comedic at times, and it's just a fascinating, entertaining watch from start to finish. Wag the Dog is my 6th favorite political movie of all time. Coming number 5 is JFK. Yes, Oliver Stone's JFK. Yeah, talk about an ensemble piece. Like, yeah, Lincoln had a huge cast. This movie has a huge cast. Come on. You got Kevin Costner, Tommy Lee Jones, you got Gary Oldman, Jack Lemmon. The list is, like, endless in this movie. The cast is huge, and this is like a 3.5-hour movie. This is about the aftermath of the assassination of John F. Kennedy, and this movie is intense, and it's so well acted and beautifully written. This is one of my favorite Oliver Stone movies. This movie is so freaking well done, beautifully executed, wonderfully edited, wonderfully shot, beautifully composed. Everything about this movie is fantastic. It was nominated for multiple Oscars for a reason, because this movie is fantastic. It feels so realistic. You feel like you're in the time zone of the assassination of John F. Kennedy, and you're just engaged with the story, and you want to know how this movie's going to end, and that's thanks to great writing, great direction, and phenomenal acting. JFK is a fantastic political movie. It takes my number 5 spot for my favorite political movies. Coming number 4 is the Ides of March. Yes, George Clooney wrote and directed this movie. This movie's fantastic. Ryan Gosling, George Clooney, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Paul Giamatti, Marissa Tomei, Evan Rachel Wood all star in this movie, and they're all great in this movie. This is a very good movie about politics and controversy and what the right thing to do is, what the wrong thing to do is, about corruption, and about how some politicians are pretty nasty in real life and stuff. And I loved this movie. This movie was so good. Ryan Gosling stole this whole movie. He is so good. This was the year when I started becoming a big fan of Ryan Gosling. This is the year of 2011 when he made Drive, Crazy Stupid Love, and now this movie, The Ides of March. And George Clooney wrote and directed this movie so freaking well. This movie deals with a lot of themes and a lot of ideas, and I don't want to spoil this movie because it's a pretty tragic story by the ending. It's almost kind of heartbreaking in a way, but it's so well done, beautifully executed, and I love this movie. There's also some pretty good dark comedy in it, but the performances in this movie make this movie absolutely amazing, and it's my 4th favorite political movie of all time. Ides of March, better watch if you haven't seen it. It's so good. Coming number 3 is, speaking of George Clooney, Good Night and Good Luck. Yes, Good Night and Good Luck is also written and directed by George Clooney, and it stars George Clooney, Robert Downey Jr., Patricia Clarkson, David Strathairn. This is about the CBS crew that fought against communism. They fought against Senator McCarthy. It was led by Edward R. Murrow, who run the CBS studio. This was a TV studio that stood against communism, because during this time, the American Senator McCarthy, was accusing all these Americans of being communists. And Edward R. Murrow and his team thought, like, that's wrong, we're not all terrorists and stuff, and they stood against the government, and of course the government called them communists and stuff, because this is all about freedom of speech and stuff, and about what the right thing to do is. This movie is fantastic. Again, a very big dialogue-filled movie. The dialogue in this movie is fantastic. It was nominated for like 6 or 7 Academy Awards. I don't even think it won any, and it should. This movie came out in 2005. Yes, the year Crash won the Oscar. This movie probably should have won Best Picture. This movie is fantastic. Beautifully acted, wonderfully told. The story is amazing. This is a story everyone should know, and people should watch this movie in schools. Like, this is a very educational and very interesting, very smart film, and I love this movie. This is my 3rd favorite political movie. Coming number 2 is a classic Frank Capra movie, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Yes, Jimmy Stewart stars in this movie with Claude Rains. This is a great movie. It's basically about a no-named guy, an alderman from a town. He moves to Washington to become the new senator, and basically in this movie he's trying to get a new bill to pass, but they're not going to let him because he's just some small hick and he doesn't know what he's talking about. This is a great movie also about what the right thing to do is and stuff. Standing up for what you believe in, standing up for what is right, and this is one of my all-time favorite Frank Capra movies. I love It's a Wonderful Life. I love it. I love Arsenic and Old Lace and stuff. I love Frank Capra's work. This movie is a hidden gem in his filmography. This movie's fantastic. I love this movie. It's also got some pretty good comedy, but Jimmy Stewart probably should have won the Oscar for this movie. He won his Oscar for The Philadelphia Story. He's awesome in that movie, but he is just amazing in this movie. His performance is freaking top-notch. He should have won the Oscar for this movie, especially for his ending speech at the end of this movie. That speech is amazing. Beautifully written and wonderfully acted by Jimmy Stewart, and Claude Rains is also really good. Everyone's great in this movie. This is a great light-hearted political movie. Again, if you love classics, you've seen this movie already, and you know I'm right that this movie is one of the best political movies in cinema. And my number 1 favorite political movie is Dr. Strangelove. Yes, Dr. Strangelove. Okay, I've gone on and on about this movie with my top 10 dark comedies and my favorite Stanley Kubrick movies. I've gone on and on about this movie. This is a great political satire. This is a comedic political movie, but it's still a political movie, and it's amazing. Peter Sellers is fantastic. George C. Scott's fantastic. Everyone's fantastic. It's a very darkly comedic movie, and it just works. Stanley Kubrick wrote and directed this movie phenomenally well. It's entertaining from start to finish. It's not overly long, and I think a lot of people from a lot of different generations can love Dr. Strangelove. Again, I've gone on and on about this movie and a lot of other videos, so I'm just going to say Dr. Strangelove is a masterpiece of a film, and it is my favorite political movie of all time. So yeah, that was my top 10 personal favorite political movies. So yeah, in the comment section below, please tell me, did you agree with this list? If not, give me your top 10 personal favorite political movies. Comment below and let me know. And as always, if you like this video, please like and subscribe to this channel and join the dark side.